Nantucket Pilot, written by Mugs Cahill. Exterior Nantucket Sound, Manannan Lighthouse, present day. Pelting rain mixes with the ocean as darkness fights the sun for dominance. On the rocky shore, the remote lighthouse consists of a semi-detached cottage and tower enclosed by rubble stone walls. Interior Manannan Lighthouse, lantern room. An antique brass telescope, its sights on the horizon. A male arm, the sleeve of a worn wool jacket evident, holds a handheld weathered nautical spyglass. It's inscribed Emmett Strong, Captain, Ship Berinthus. The spyglass POV. Exterior Nantucket Sound. Furious waves thrash a sleek modern sailboat. On deck, two college-age males struggle to tame the mainmast, frantically trying to save the boat and themselves. In the cockpit, a female screams into the ship's radio.
Mayday, Mayday, this is the Eaton. My position is... Shit, I don't know, damn it! Mayday!
On the aft deck, a second female wearing a Cassidy's Pub baseball hat calmly searches in a first aid kit, finds a black Sharpie. She scribbles on the inside of her hat's brim, puts the cap back on, tosses the Sharpie into the sea. She looks to her boatmates, unaware of her in their panic. She purposefully steps up on the rail and does a perfect swan dive off the boat. Her body doesn't resurface. 6 months later. Exterior open ocean afternoon. Gray skies, light rain, fierce storm on the horizon. The Nantucket ferry navigates choppy water. Interior, the Nantucket ferry. Many empty seats. The few passengers wear sweaters and rain gear. It's off-season. Aisling Keneally paces near the windows, cell phone at her ear. Her waterproof raincoat and bucket hat are designed as much for fashion as they are for function.
I said, I can't hear you. I can't. Hang on. Hang on.
She marches out the door. On the deck, Aisling, the only person out there.
Why are you badgering me? If I needed you to come, I would have asked you to come. Well, it feels like badgering. I'm not projecting.
The rain intensifies. A pod of seals playfully navigates the choppy waters alongside the ferry.
Love has nothing to do with this. You're analyzing me and it's annoying. Because it's windy. I'm outside.
The boat rocks. Aisling grabs the rail. Below her, a seal races to keep up with its pod. It abruptly flips up, its full body now gliding on the water's surface. Aisling sees a unique scar on its pelt. She peers for a closer look, but the seal submerges. A deckhand slips and slides, struggling to keep his balance as he maneuvers to her.
Ma'am! Hey, ma'am!
A foghorn.
Yes, I'm here. I can barely hear you. I'll call you later.
She stuffs her phone in her pocket. The deckhand wildly waves his hands.
Ma'am! You have a death wish or something? It's a wicked storm out here. It's not safe here.
She slips and slides, following the deckhand back inside. On the horizon, Nantucket Island. Exterior Surfside Road, Nantucket, new home site. Rain lightly falls as construction workers prepare the land for a new home. One of the construction men, Jerry Mashop, separates rocks from a mound of dirt. He pulls at a large rock. It loosens dirt that's quickly becoming mud. He picks up an unearthed object. It's a bone. He pushes mud aside. Another bone. The rain intensifies. Jerry rubs the dirt off the bones, but there's something else in the mud that grabs his attention. Part of a skull. Buckets of rain plummet to the ground, and if that wasn't enough to stop construction, a crack of thunder and a lightning flash.
Everybody off the site. Let's go. Shut it down.
The construction workers, with the exception of Jerry, scramble to their vehicles.
Marsha, hey, when I say shut down, you shut down. I don't need a lawsuit because you're stupid enough to get struck by lightning.
We got an issue here.
Jerry holds up the bones for the foreman to see.
It's probably someone's golden retriever.
Jerry pushes aside the mud with his boot. The skull.
Shit. Go, I'll handle it.
Jerry peers at him. The foreman dangles a truck key.
I said I'll handle it. You got dump duty, rain or shine. When you get back, leave the key on the tire.
Jerry takes his time walking to a nearby dump truck that's loaded with construction waste. Exterior Nantucket Island, Ocean Street Dock. The torrential rain eases to drizzle. Carrying an oversized purse that doubles as an overnight bag, Aisling walks down the ferry ramp. She maneuvers past passengers waiting to board. The cobblestones are slick. Ashling's foot slips out from under her just as a tall, blonde, 30-ish preppy man jogs by. He grabs her arm to keep her from falling and uses his hand to steady her.
Thanks.
But he's already on his way. Aisling shudders like a blast of cold shot up her spine. Her head spins toward the jogger.
Chip?
He turns directly toward her, a sly smile, then quickly ascends the ramp.
What the fuck?
Her phone rings. It's Kendra. She sends it to voicemail, then texts, headed to lawyer, will call later. Interior law office of Bascom and Bascom, common area. Paralegal Marcia blows her nose. She wipes the red, swollen, tearful eyes under her reading glasses.
I'm really very sorry, but is there no one else in the office who can help me? Who's handling his other clients?
Mr. Bascom only died this very morning.
Tim Bascom emerges from his office.
Marcia, going home. Tim Bascom, how can I help you?
Aisling Keneally, I had a meeting with your brother. I'm sorry for your loss.
Ted was my cousin. Marcia, go home.
I get this is a bad time. If I had known, I would have rescheduled. In fact, I would have preferred to handle it over the phone to begin with, but your cousin was adamant that the paperwork be signed in person. I'm still unclear as to why. This whole thing has been a
Shit show? That would be Ted, king of the shit show. I'll be frank with you. You probably could have done this over the phone. My guess is that Ted engineered this nonsense.
What do you mean?
I don't know.
Marcia hands him a folder. He motions, come on, to Aisling. She follows him out the back. Exterior Bascom Law Office, courtyard. An overhang shields Aisling and Bascom from the drizzle. Bascom picks up a cigarette pack from the patio table. He offers it to Aisling.
I don't smoke.
Me either.
He tosses the pack back down. They sit.
Here's the deal. Ted handled the estate of an old woman who wanted to leave her property to someone who would love it as much as she did. She probably thought that they would love it just by looking at it and not sell it. She wanted it preserved. Your daughter a conservationist?
My daughter barely turned 18, and to my knowledge, she never met this woman.
You don't know what kids are up to.
I knew my daughter very well, Mr. Bascom. We were very close.
No offense, speaking from personal experience. Anyway, Anam was eccentric.
Anam?
Marie Anam, the old woman, eccentric as they come. And that's saying a lot around here. Ted agreed to whatever made her happy, aka whatever he needed to keep her paying legal bills. That's the kind of shit, excuse me, he pulled. And it got worse and worse. You think you know someone because you grow up together and you're around each other every single day in, day out. You know someone pretty well, right? No, you don't. Anyway, Miss Leal Keneally,
My daughter.
your daughter, was put in Marie Anam's will as the recipient of the property upon Miss Anam's death. The will further stipulates that it would automatically revert to your daughter's legal beneficiary if she should, well, you know,
Die.
die. And that beneficiary is you.
He puts papers from a folder and a pen in front of her.
Sign, and it's yours.
That's it? Your cousin couldn't courier these to me?
I said it. Nonsense. Who knows why?
Mananan. Is that near here?
Other side of the island. You can see Tuggernuck across the strait when the fog banks are cooperative.
He takes a cigarette out of the pack.
You mind?
I do. Actually, I can't take the smell.
He puts the cigarette on the table.
Filthy habit. Ted gave it up. He could do that. Set his mind on something.
Aisling reads, then signs the papers as Bascom sniffs the air, lost in thought.
Steamed quahogs, melted butter, the best. During the season, the smell is fried grease. Know why? Tourists eat fried quahogs by the bushel. Best way to eat them? Steamed, delicious. Fried, disgusting. Ted and I would laugh about that.
Mrs. Wade on the line. She's called 3 times.
Who?
Mrs. Wade, Mr. Bascom's client, about the Whaling Museum.
Was there no end to his jackassery?
Marcia goes back inside. Bascom takes the signed document and shoves it in a folder.
I'll have Marcia make copies. Should only take a few minutes. You can wait inside if it's too cold out here.
I'm good, thanks.
Mrs. Connealy,
Miss.
I'm sorry. A kid, that's tough.
Aisling acknowledges with a slight nod. He goes inside. Aisling puts the cigarette on the table, back in the pack. Deleted scenes. After Jerry dumps the construction debris, he peruses the latest cast-offs at the town dump, known to the locals as the Nantucket Mall. He discovers a scrimshaw hidden in its springs of a vintage upholstered chair. It depicts a young girl balanced on the edge of a jetty as she watches seals swim among the rocky outcropping. Aisling checks into her B&B and is given a briefing by the young, non-believing desk clerk about the lore of ghosts on the island. Supposedly, Aisling's room is haunted. Interior Water Street Inn, Aisling's guest room. Aisling, nestled in the window nook, is on her cell phone. Interior Kendra's office, same time. Modern, posh. Large glass windows provide a view of Boston's skyline and its beyond. PhD psychiatry diplomas hang next to photos featuring dignitaries posing with Aisling and Kendra Swear. From a comfortable leather chair, Kendra scribbles her autograph on hardback books handed to her by her assistant, Luce. Next to the book, Kendra's cell phone sits on the table. It's on speaker with a photo of Aisling.
Aisling, honey, it was not Chip.
I looked right at him. Kendra, it was Chip Smith. I even recognized the jogging suit he was wearing.
Who wears a jogging suit from that long ago? Who even says jogging suit anymore? I'm surprised you remember what Chip looked like.
We were married.
For like a week. You've been with me for 17 years, more or less, on and off, and you still mix me up with that barista from Hyde Park. Okay, not funny. Got it.
Am I on speaker?
Yeah.
Anyone else in the room?
Kendra hits her mute button and waves Luce away.
No.
Kendra, I saw him. I thought Chip was dead.
Luce picks up the signed copies and heads to the door. Kendra motions, close the door. Luce closes it behind her.
Are you there? I said I thought he was dead.
Because he is.
He looked at me.
You saw someone who looks like the guy you dumped for me after getting pregnant with not his child and who is now dead. And you're back for the first time to the place you conceived that child. You're grieving. Does that cover it?
Aisling stares out the window, rain and more rain. She unlatches the window and cracks it open.
You there? What are you doing?
I'm opening a window.
What floor are you on?
Oh my God, seriously? It's stuffy in here. I can't get the heat to turn down. Fucking relax.
Ash, I'm worried. It was too soon for you to...
Don't.
What? Care about you? Being an expert on grief doesn't mean you don't have to deal with your own.
Don't. You may not analyze me.
Come home. Leave the property as is for now. We'll go back in the summer and figure it out.
I'm processing my grief just fine. I'll call you later or tomorrow.
Aisling hangs up. Kendra picks up her phone. The call is disconnected.
Okay. Love you too.
She tosses the phone to the chair next to her. Exterior Nantucket Land Trust later. A back in 30 sign taped to the door. Aisling pulls at the door anyway. Locked. She walks away. Interior Winds of Change Antiques. A small brass nautical bell above the door jingles as Aisling opens it and enters. Weathered maps, nautical scopes and instruments, marine life paintings. The shop is a treasure trove of seafaring antiques and collectibles, without a speck of dust. A glass case against the wall showcases antique scrimshaw. Aisling opens the case, picks one up. The etching on it is a sinking ship in a storm, mast broken and wood debris. Owner Doris Folger enters from the back room, eyeglasses at the ready around her neck. Doris is a walking Wikipedia of every truth and tall tale on the island. Doris nods to Aisling's bag slung over her shoulder.
You're either carrying groceries to settle here for a spell, or you plan on stealing something and need a big sack to put it in. I'm joshing. You don't seem like a thieving type. Besides, I got cameras.
A visiting, just for a night.
Got here just in time. Last ferry in or out canceled because of the nor'easter. Are you a collector?
No, I don't know much about scrimshaw.
Mm. The only art form that originated in America. Carvings were done by crews on whaling vessels. No nation had more whaling ships afloat than America, some 650 at one time. Scrimshanders were whalemen.
Yeah, it's so detailed.
The whaleman who carved that one is unknown, but its story, and I said story, not tale, because the tragedy is documented truth. A captain who abandoned his crew for the sake of a tainted treasure.
What treasure?
Doris gently takes the scrimshaw from Ashling's hand and puts it back in the case.
A fierce northerly gale created treacherous waters on February 12th, 1861. And on that day, the ship, a three-masted bark named the Berinthus, was abandoned by Captain Emmett Strong off the shores of Old Man Shoal. From the shore, the mast was seen swirling in the vortex until it slipped into the ocean's graveyard, along with the 13-man crew. God rest their souls.
I thought a captain went down with the ship.
The Berinthus still rests on the sea floor. Its captain did not. People saw Strong take a drink at the tavern up the street and then never seen again. Some say he holed up in the lighthouse near Tuckernuck, which back then may as well have been the end of the world. No truth to it, though. The lightkeeper, a good Quaker, would never have lied about something like that.
The lighthouse near Tuckernuck. Manannan Lighthouse?
Yes, was in the Onum family for 150 years. Marie Onum took ownership when she was a young thing. Her mother had died, father not long after. The light stopped shining back in the 40s when the government shut it down during the war. Marie never lit it up again. Most days she'd get a ride out there to sit and ponder. You know, she lived to be 102 and left it to some stranger. Folks were hot under the collar about that, let me tell you. She was mad as Huckleberry Chowder toward the end, but apparently her will was dated years ago, so the court let it stand.
Why were people angry?
Land trusts thought they'd get it. Some think her lawyer, God rest her soul, pulled a fast one. She left it to a perfect stranger. Could you imagine?
Actually, I can.
Aisling sees Chip jog past the window. Double take, unsure.
I should get going.
Aisling makes for the door.
Oh, make sure to squeeze in a visit to the Whaling Museum. I'm a docent.
Aisling nods, quickly walks out. Doris, using a key around her neck, locks the case. She double checks it. Satisfied, she returns to the back room. Deleted scenes. Aisling scans the street, but no sign of Chip. Near an ice cream shop, she longingly watches as a teen girl and mother enjoy time together. She snapped back to reality when Edgar Arsenal, the stereotypical vision of Nantucket male wearing faded red khakis and Stutterheim rain jacket, politely asks her to step aside because she's leaning on his Land Rover. She returns to the Land Trust office, but it's still closed. Exterior Nantucket Whaling Museum establishing. A former 1800s candle and oil factory, the museum retains the original architecture and character. Interior Whaling Museum. Artifacts and art include a 46-foot sperm whale skeleton suspended from the ceiling. Aisling wanders, glancing at the exhibit, lost in thought. Edgar beelines for her.
We meet again.
Aisling's blank stare.
Ice cream nerd. Parking prohibitor.
Right. Sorry, I'm distracted. Again.
I thought you were enamored with all things AC. Nantucket.
Yeah, I know what AC is.
Edgar Arsenault Real Estate. Also on the board of the museum, so if you want a private tour or have any questions, I'm happy to oblige.
Aisling Keneally, thank you, but I need to get going.
She walks away. He joins her as she heads to the exit past the various exhibits.
I can't interest you in a rental for the upcoming season? A property for sale before you go? I have to ask, I'm a real estate guy.
I am getting rid of a property, but I'm donating it to the Land Trust.
The Land Trust? That's interesting. I know every property on the island. Oh, of course, you're Aisling Keneally, the new Manananan owner. Other side of the island, near Tuckernuck.
How do you know that?
Ted Bascom, God rest his soul, was a friend. And I'm on the board of the land trust.
I heard the land trust was upset about not getting it. So this will make you happy and it saves me a third trip to the office. How can I get the transfer drawn up?
I'm a big proponent of conservation, obviously, but truthfully, I don't know if the land trust is the answer.
What do you mean?
Time. It's been neglected for so long that the expense could be prohibitive for the trust right now. Private sector is where the deep pockets are. If it sits much longer, I'm concerned it'll be beyond repair. That would be a shame. Truly, a damn shame. I happen to know someone who would love to restore that place to its original glory, and you'd make a nice song on it.
It needs that much repair?
You haven't seen it?
Not yet.
Well, once you see it, you'll want to restore it yourself.
I'm definitely not doing that.
Well, then it's fortunate that I know a potential buyer. I'd hate to see such a treasure so neglected. I'm happy to introduce you. He'll be back in a week or so.
I'm leaving tomorrow with the hope that I'm done with it. So if you have a buyer who wants to restore it, that sounds like the right thing to do. I'll sell.
Terrific. I'll get the papers together this afternoon.
They come upon a scrimshaw exhibit. They stop.
I'd like to catch the earlier ferry in the morning.
We'll connect early. My office is down the street from here, Arsenal Realty. Or better yet, let me buy you breakfast.
I'm at the Water Street Inn. I hear they have a good one.
Edgar sticks out his hand.
I'm so glad to have run into you. What are the odds?
They shake. Edgar smiles and leaves. Aisling stares at the scrimshaw, fascinated. Deleted scene. Aisling, looking for something to eat, spots the Brotherhood of Thieves tavern. She goes in. Interior, Brotherhood of Thieves. The scattered clientele represent the locals instead of the summer playground of the rich. Aisling peels off her wet jacket, sits at the bar. The bartender, Bosco, puts a bowl of oyster crackers in front of her. His name badge states ARG.
Blanton's, 1 cube, and a menu.
Aisling pops a few crackers into her mouth. She checks her cell phone. No signal. He puts a menu and her bourbon in front of her.
Service is spotty in here on a good day.
Your name is Arg?
It's Bosco, but I like R. I answered either.
Aisling sips her drink and downs a few more crackers. On a wall declaring Thieves Hall of Fame hang framed paintings of bygone era seafarers. George Pollard, whose voyage inspired Moby Dick. Absalom Boston, the first Black captain with an all-Black crew. The last painting, hanging upside down, reads Captain Emmett Strong. A glass box under the caption displays a whaler's chalk pin and a whalebone scrimshaw. At the end of the bar, Miriam Quarry nurses her beer. Miriam, with her long hair and worn jeans, looks like she came straight off the Carole King tapestry tour. Miriam puts her drink on the bar next to Aisling's. Aisling turns to her.
I only miss you when I breathe.
Aisling leans away. WTF?
I'm so sorry. I recognized you and I thought I'd impress you with my favorite quote from one of your books, Manifestation of Grief and Loss. I only miss you
when I breathe, right.
So you are Dr. Aisling Keneally?
Yes, I am.
Sorry, that was fucking weird.
Yes, it was.
I recognized you from your dust jacket. I'm such a geek. Can I buy you a drink?
You should.
Bosco. Miriam Quarry. I own my pie.
You never have too much pizza.
It's a bakery. I got the location before the name, 14 March Road. Easy to remember, March the 3rd month, so 3 and 14.
3.14, the numerical value of pi. You are a geek. Is March Road in town?
Never been to Nantucket?
Once, almost 20 years ago. My bachelorette party in this bar, no less.
Well, this place hasn't changed at all, other than I no longer work here and the ice machine does.
Bosco sets their drinks in front of them. Aisling sips, her eyes wandering to the painting of Captain Strong. She stares at it, at him. Even upside down, he appears to be staring back at her.
Ah, the disgraced captain of yore. Nothing worse on this island than a captain who abandons his ship.
But Aisling isn't listening. Cut to flashback. Interior Brotherhood of Thieves, 19 years ago. Noisy and mobbed, the in-season disposable income crowd drink and carry on. A banner on the wall states, "Last fling before the ring." Parting below the banner, younger Aisling gets her drink on with 10 female friends. She wears a plastic tiara and sash across her chest that reads, "Chip's vagina forever." Younger Aisling hangs on younger Kendra. The night is not young and they've had plenty to drink. They guide each other to a booth and plop down.
I have to tell you something.
I think I already know, Ash.
No, I have to confess. I am a virgin.
Like a virgin? Virgin? I thought you weren't sleeping with Chip because maybe
I
you
told him I wanted to wait, but I don't. Help me find somebody to have sex with before I get married. I have 1 week.
maybe you don't want to have sex with Chip because there's something else. But
Aisling makes her way through the mob. She spots a guy with a head of brown curls hanging on the face of a tender smile. He winks. She's entranced.
Aisling, you okay?
Interior Brotherhood of Thieves present. Aisling stares at the Captain Strong painting.
Aisling, you okay? Hey, you okay?
Have those always been here?
Older than me.
I barely remember a thing about that night.
Aisling downs her drink, abruptly stands.
I should go while there's a break in the weather. Thanks for the drink.
Aisling heads out, putting her coat on as she does.
You sure you're okay?
But Aisling is out the door. Interior Nantucket Town Hall, Werner Wickshane's cubicle. Werner Wickszane, old school Nantucket, leads the Conservation Commission subcommittee of the Community Preservation Committee. Jerry drops government forms on Werner's desk.
When will it be done?
It's not an overnight process. I need to make sure these are all in order and then bring it before the town council.
How long?
No worries, Jerry. Sounds like Mother Nature has put the kibosh on construction moving forward at that site for now anyway.
No, it needs to be shut down permanently. If this is Wampanoag burial ground,
If I'm handling it.
yeah, everybody's handling it.
Jerry storms away. Interior, the lift Prius. The Prius travels along narrow Surfside Road as the fog settles and lifts as if keeping the rain at bay. Aisling is in the back seat. Finn, happy-go-lucky 18-year-old, drives.
So the box is probably the best for chicken, and then it's an easy walk to Sandpiper for beers. Although after games, it's mostly not your age, which we don't care, but you might be uncomfortable.
You're in high school?
1 more year, but I'm older because I got held back. I lost a bunch of time after the accident, so I'll have to repeat a bunch of stuff. Oh, hey, not to worry, it was not a car accident. I was sailing with some buddies and we got blindsided. Storm flies in, we scramble to get to shore. Mast swings wide, crack, right on my noggin. My bros flew into action or I would have slipped right off the side into dark, wet, permanent death.
Aisling uncomfortable. Finn clueless.
There are worse ways to die, valid. But I got life to live, know what I mean? When I'm old, sure, no biggie. I'll take a skiff out into a storm and let some crazy raging wave swallow me between those 570 square miles between the vineyard and home. You know what they call it? Graveyard of the Atlantic. There's like 3,000 wrecks there. A freaking parking lot of carnage.
Aisling, moist forehead and lump in throat.
Don't get me wrong. I have no death wish. No one wants to die at my age. But 90 when I'm in diapers? I'll choose my own way out. Thank you very much.
Aisling is going to be sick.
Please pull over.
The Prius screeches to a stop. Aisling lurches forward, nearly slamming into the passenger headrest.
Turtle on the road? Give me a sec.
Aisling shakes her head. What?
A snapper! We got him as big as toilet seats here. Come see it. Ever have one hiss at you? A sight not soon forgotten.
I'd rather not.
I can't leave it in the road. Give me a few extra secs to move him. I gotta be cool. Bites or nasty?
Aisling takes a deep breath. She texts Kendra, headed to property, call later. She looks to the window. A turtle head flies at her inches from her face.
Jesus!
Oh, don't worry. I got a hold on it so it won't bite.
Ashling out the window point of view. On her right, Finn brings the turtle to the side of the road. On her left, a plaque on a large stone rests on the ground. She squints to read, Myakamet Indian Burial Ground. There are no other markers in the field. Finn gets in the car.
Glad I saw it. Next person might not have.
He starts the car, pulls out, and goes right back to the banter.
We've got 3 species of native turtles on the island. Painted, snapping, spotted. There are rumors of a 4th.
Ashling looks out the back window to the burial ground receding into the distance. Deleted scenes. The Prius arrives at a strip near Lighthouse Road, but can't get across because of the flooding. Finn offers his mom's Bronco, which could make it across, so they drive to his house. Exterior quarry house later. Finn and Ashling get out of the Prius, which is parked on the dirt driveway next to a Ford Bronco.
I'll be right back.
He jogs to the typical Nantucket gray wood shingle cottage. Ashling watches a bald eagle swoop overhead. Miriam emerges from the house.
We meet again.
Ashling confused.
Finn's my son.
Oh, he's a nice kid.
He's surprisingly grounded, considering my husband and I aren't always. Weird situation. Anyway.
You're married.
Did you think I was hitting on you at the bar?
No, yes, maybe a little. It was that opening line.
Valid. I just really love your book. Those deep, deep feelings people harbor and never untether.
I like the way you put that. I may have to steal it.
It's all yours.
Ashling looks to the house for Finn to emerge. He doesn't.
What situation, if you don't mind me asking?
My husband lives in Alaska. Well, sometimes. He works construction. He's always loved it there, and I'm not leaving the island. We agreed we didn't need to live together to be together. You probably think that's weird.
It sounds perfect. Pretty much our arrangement too. My wife, Kendra.
Kids?
A daughter. I have a daughter. I had. She died about 6 months ago.
I'm so sorry.
Miriam pulls her sweater tighter.
Ooh, it's cold, isn't it? Let me go see what happened to Finn. He gets distracted.
Finn bounds out of the house.
You're still here?
Well, yeah.
Oh, I thought you were driving her.
Why would... Never mind. Sorry, I'll bring you. Finn, Jerry is dropping something off. If he gets here while I'm gone, have him hang out until I get back.
Finn gives the thumbs up.
You have the keys?
In the ignition.
Hop in.
They get in. The Bronco backs down the driveway. Finn runs toward them. The Bronco stops. Passenger window comes down.
I'll be giving you 5 stars.
He eagerly awaits Ashling's response.
I'd give you 6 if I could.
Finn flashes a wide grin and gives her the thumbs up. The Bronco drives away. On the ground, a bald eagle feather. Finn picks it up. He brings it into the house. Deleted scenes. Jerry performs a native ritual in the darkness of the Myakamet Indian burial ground. He has a scrimshaw with him. Miriam gets Ashling across the flooded isthmus to the lighthouse. She offers her phone number in case the weather turns and Ashling needs to leave. The wind howling fiercely through its walls, Ashling takes shelter in the lighthouse cottage. Exploring her environs, she discovers a narrow hallway to the lighthouse tower. She climbs the precarious steps and sees an antique telescope pointed at the rocks below. Exterior Manannan Lighthouse, lantern, platform deck. Ashling looks across the strait to the sparsely inhabited island of Tuckernuck. Below her, seals lounge on treacherous rock formations. They take turns diving on and off the rocks. A young woman climbs among the rocks at the water's edge.
Hello? Hey!
A fog bank floats across, obscuring the view. When it's moved on, no one is there. Ashling searches the rocks, the horizon, nothing. Interior Manannan Lighthouse Cottage, common room, night. A single lamp lights the room. Ashling takes Miriam's number out of her pocket, then puts it back. She orders a lift on her phone app. 25-minute wait. The sound of rain on the roof is relentless. Aisling pulls her coat tight and flops on the couch. A lightning bolt flashes through the window, bringing a neon shadow against the wall. Aisling jumps.
Who's there?
She uses her cell phone flashlight for more light. No one there, but a wooden coat tree that could have cast the weird shadow.
Shit.
She drops back on the couch, turns off her flashlight. A notification pops up that her Lyft ride was canceled.
Double shit.
She retrieves Miriam's number from her pocket, tries calling. No cell service. She lights a log in the fireplace. She tries to call. Still no service. The room fills with smoke. Aisling, coughing, tries to wave the smoke away. No use.
Damn it.
She jiggles the damper lever to open the flue. It's stuck. She chokes as smoke fills the room. She kicks the lever. It loosens, sending a pile of soot down the chimney. She flops onto the couch, tries her phone. No service.
Damn.
She relights the log in the fireplace, grabs a wool blanket from the shelf, and settles in. Interior Manana Lighthouse lantern room, night. Pipe smoke swirls up from the stairs. The antique nautical spyglass from the opening scene rests next to the telescope. Interior Winds of Change antiques. The only sheriff of a town in the state of Massachusetts with no jail, Sheriff Bob Wixom is calm and collected. He hovers near Doris, who's overcome with agitation. Bob glances at the open scrimshaw case.
Are you sure you locked it?
Of course I'm sure. It's open now because I opened it.
So you didn't see her take it while she was here, and you're sure the case was locked when she left?
It was her.
What was the missing item's value?
It only had recently come in, so I haven't had the time to appraise it as such. Some of these artifacts, precious art, worth thousands of dollars. Did you know a Frederick Merritt fetched over $50,000 at auction?
Bob surveys the shop, sees a camera up in the corner.
Did you take a look at the security footage?
I've been so flustered.
Come on, let's take a peek.
She follows him, stops, goes back and locks the case.
You're positive you put that one in the case to begin with?
I feel like I'm the one on trial here.
Not my intention, Doris.
She follows him to the back room. Deleted scene. Aisling, asleep on the couch, awakens to the sound of a violin. She follows the music to the lighthouse tower and climbs the steps. When she enters the room, the music stops. On the platform deck stands 19th century whaler, Captain Emmett Strong, the violin in his hand. Exterior Manana Lighthouse platform deck. Aisling stands just feet from him.
I'm waiting for you.
Is this a joke? Who are you?
You know who I am. Aisling Keneally.
You look like the captain in the painting. Captain Emmett Strong, the coward captain who let his men die.
He slams his violin onto the deck iron railing. The bow flies out into the air, spirals mercilessly in the wind down to the rocks below.
Never say that. Never!
His neck throbbing, teeth gritted, he takes one calculated step toward her. She steps back, visibly afraid.
You know nothing. If I didn't need you, I'd be done with you.
He storms past, circles to the other side of the deck. Aisling catches her breath. She turns to him, but he's already gone. The wind howls. She picks up the broken violin. She shivers, the damp chill cutting into her bones. Exterior, sea below the lighthouse. A seal pops up from the water, grabs the violin bow off the rock with its mouth, then slips back under. Exterior Manana Lighthouse cottage, dawn. Aisling awakens, disoriented.
What time is it? Where's my phone?
She looks to the table, down to the floor, finds her phone under the couch. She sees something on the dining table. She drops her tightly wrapped blanket and gets up to see what it is. The sun's rays stream into the window, casting a glow across a broken violin. The violin. Aisling picks it up, studies it.
Oh my God.
She catches a whiff of something sweetly familiar. A curl of smoke drifts past her and into the galley. She puts down the violin and follows the smell. Interior galley. The curling smoke disappears into a long, skinny pantry cupboard. Aisling opens the cupboard, sees a strange mechanism. She pulls it, click. The wall slightly ajar, she pushes it open. The narrow opening is wide enough for her to squeeze through. She turns on her phone flashlight, climbs in, and descends steps that lead beneath the cottage. Deleted scenes. Aisling follows the smoke curls through the winding passage, at one time a secret smuggler's tunnel to the sea. The familiar smell and curls of the smoke remind her of something. She flashes back to being in the formal library of her parents' New England estate on the day of her father's funeral. The smell of his pipe still permeating the room. The sound of crashing surf brings her back to the passageway. She discovers a secret room. Interior, secret room. A tight, low room. The swirl of smoke dissipates. A wooden beam shelf nailed to the wall features 8 carved notches, spaced in uniform length. A single scrimshaw sits above the first notch. Aisling picks up the scrimshaw. A singing sailor is perched on a rock, a 19th century whaling ship in the background. She holds it closer. It's familiar. The sailor's face. Cut to flashback. Interior, Brotherhood of Thieves, 19 years ago. A guy with a head of brown curls hanging on the face of a tender smile winks at Aisling. She's entranced. Cut back to interior, secret room. The scrimshaw sailor's face is the same face as the guy in the bar 19 years ago.
What the hell?
She puts the scrimshaw back on the beam, steps back, staring.
What is happening?
The door slams shut. She spins, flings it open. A man's shadow disappears.
Hey! Hey!
Interior, secret passageway. Aisling bursts out the door, looks down the passage toward the sea opening. A male figure at the end of the tunnel. He turns, the sun shines on him. It's Captain Emmett Strong. Slam! Aisling turns to the closed door. She turns back. Strong is gone. She rushes through the passage to the sand. Aisling emerges from the passageway, steps toward the rocks. Strong turns to her.
I was cross with you. Deservedly so.
Last night wasn't a dream. You are Captain Emmett Strong.
You're not afraid.
No.
It was an observation, not a question.
He easily descends the rocks onto the sand near her.
You said you needed me. Why?
Are you a coward, Aisling Keneally? No, you're not. It is a coward who attempts to dissolve you until you no longer exist. A coward weaves a story that becomes your legacy.
Is that why you need me?
You need me.
He hands her a beat-up baseball cap, the same Cassidy hubcap worn by the young girl in the first scene. Aisling caresses it. Her hand trembles. She sees the black marker text in Lil's writing on the brim.
Mommy. Niawado Kailahuiha.
Aisling can barely speak, but she manages to mutter.
Mom. Never far apart.
You speak Irish.
A few phrases. Where did you get this?
In the distance, yelling.
Miss Keneally! Aisling!
Captain Strong climbs up on the rocks, perilously close to the water's edge.
What do you know about my daughter? What do you want from me?
I know your truth. Should you not prove mine?
I don't know what that means. What are you talking about?
Life is the greatest treasure, is it not?
Edgar's voice is closer.
Miss Keneally! Aisling, you here?
Be cautious of voices who would persuade you otherwise.
Aisling looks up toward the cottage. Edgar rounds the corner. She looks back. Strong is gone.
There you are. Your voicemail was full.
Aisling checks her pockets. Nothing there.
Everything okay?
My phone. I must be inside. Were we meeting here?
No, I went to the inn. They said you hadn't come back from yesterday.
You knew I came out here?
But Finn, your Lyft driver, dates the front desk clerk. I brought the contract for your signature.
I'm not ready to sign.
Oh, need a day, a week? Here's my concern. If you dawdle on this, well, I'd hate for you to miss the opportunity, and then you and the island is left with an eyesore, an abandoned property. What you do today matters.
It won't be abandoned. I'm thinking about staying.
I thought we had a deal. At least that's the way we do things here. Word is bond with families living here since Nantucket was Nantucket. All the way back to people whose families founded the island.
I thought the Wampanoag founded the island.
You know what I mean.
I do.
I'll leave this with you to review anyway. You'll see it's the right thing to do. A win-win.
He reaches out to hand her the contract. She doesn't take it.
I'm not selling right now. I'll let you know if I change my mind.
Edgar forces a smile, stuffs the contract into his pack. He looks beyond her to the rocky area from where she came.
Be careful out there. Those rocks are more slippery than they look.
He marches away and out of sight. Aisling climbs up on the rock where she last saw Captain Strong. She peers out at the sea. A buoy clangs in the distance, storm clouds on the horizon. A wind gust almost knocks her over. She catches her balance, then climbs down the rocks. A faint ring, different from the buoy. Ring again. She listens intently, walks to the passageway entrance, stares down it into the darkness. An inkling of salty, cold wetness sloshes against her ankles. The tide is closing off the entrance. Ring. She follows the sound. Deleted scenes. Edgar is on the phone, angry that he didn't close the deal. Threatens the unknown person on the receiving end that they need to take care of it. Aisling finds her cell phone in the secret room. She's missed multiple calls from Kendra, so calls back to tell Kendra that she's not coming back to Boston, but staying on the island. When Kendra protests, she pretends there's a bad signal and hangs up. Kendra is concerned that grief is overwhelming Aisling, but with the fog canceling all flights and the ferry at capacity, Kendra can't get to her. Interior secret room. Aisling puts her phone in her pocket. On the beam, there is a second scrimshaw, 6 notches away from the first one. She studies it. The etching is of seals frolicking around a rock formation, on which sits a young woman about 18 years old. It's the same scrimshaw Jerry found at the town dump. Aisling inspects it more closely. The young woman's smile is too familiar.
Lil? Oh my God. Lil!
Aisling bolts out of the room. Interior secret passageway. Aisling races toward the sea, echoing down the tunnel.
Strong! Captain Strong, where are you?
Exterior Smuggler's Rocks. Aisling emerges from the passageway straight into the incoming tide. She sloshes through the water.
God damn it, Captain, where are you?
The wind howls, thunder crackles. Aisling trudges out of the water onto the sliver of beach not submerged, wet sand around her ankles. She races past the cottage to the lighthouse. Interior lighthouse stairs. Aisling frantically takes the steps 2 at a time, stumbles and almost falls flat. Exterior Manannan lighthouse platform deck. The rain pelting her face, Aisling searches the rocks below. She wildly shakes the scrimshaw, screaming to be heard above the howling wind.
Captain! Where are you? Where did this come from?
Captain Strong emerges from the rocks. He looks up to her. A gust of wind throws her off balance. The scrimshaw comes loose from her hand, but she manages to catch it before it falls. She peers down at the rocks. Captain Strong is gone. She grabs the iron rails, clutching the scrimshaw. She's a broken woman.
Lil. Are you out there? My Lil.
The howling gusts subside to a subtle whispering wind. It sounds like a female's voice.
Mommy!
Aisling, entranced. Is it the wind? End pilot.